Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And also Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America. Thank you for following Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network. Also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Thank you for following Big C Sports. Also, my good old boys up in Canada. I think my voice is cleared up enough to say, "Oh, Canada, oh, my native land." And man, I still got to get to the other verses, Big C, but that's pretty good for not screwing up two lines. Your thoughts, Big C? Okay, well, I understand you feel, but there's still no one I love more than them good old boys in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. That's the United States of America on a beautiful March the 30th, 2017. And Big C, might I say that Finland is even following Big C Sports because they're trying to get Putin and also Trump to meet again, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's ironic, Putin today said, read my lips, and I don't know where he got that.
Yeah, no new taxes. Yeah.
They made that statement, read my lips.
Oh, the good old boys.
Interfered in the U.S. election.
Yeah.
But he said he's willing to meet with President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
In Finland, of all places, to go over and discuss that with him. Why would he choose Finland? Why would he not be open to see the leader of a country
to
come to the United States where all these allegations have been made and discuss it on U.S. soil, Charles?
Yeah.
And even in Canada, where you keep screwing up the national anthem.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Big Z. I keep trying, Big Z.
that is a neutral place, Canada. But, it's in between. As Sarah Palin said, she can see Canada, Russia from the back.
Yeah.
It's not that far away. But, you think about it. Why would you want to meet with him in Eastern Europe, of all places, Charlton?
I think because he cannot extradite you, Big C.
Meet with him in a place where the media and the world is more interested.
Yeah. Is there no extradition? Is that the thing that they have over there, Big C? You cannot get someone out of the country. I mean, think about this. For all the good old boys, especially Rush Limbaugh, I kind of feel bad for Rush Limbaugh because he's been choking on something. He looks all red and all puffy on TV now.
Probably a chicken bone, Charles. I think that might consume, 2 dozen chicken wings at a time.
Yeah.
And I saw the Buffalo Wild Wings had half price.
Yeah.
The chicken wings. So I know Rush has swallowed a couple.
You ever hear of a restaurant running out of food? That's because Rush Limbaugh went there first. He and his OxyContin buddies. But I want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And, of course, Big C, I think because most of the rain is over here in California, but you good old boys down south, I think there's still a lot of mud out here. We see a lot of washed off Escalades now, Big C. Is yours still muddy and tracking mud tracks all over the place, Big C?
Well, Charles, what we got down here is a run on pollen in the south. We got these pine trees. I know California thinks they have some pine trees. You guys look like a little shrubbery bush.
Yeah.
What we have.
Yeah.
But everything down here is yellow. I walk by my car, it used to be brown mud, every day. Now it's yellow. It looks like it's gotten kind of soft.
Yeah, you sure that good old dog you got? Remember that big old dog in the comics called Marmaduke? All it did was eat and sleep, Big C? Is that the dog that's making your Escalade yellow, Big C? Your thoughts?
A whole lot of stuff is doing it, Charlton. But right now I feel like the OJs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember the song "Living for the Weekend."
Oh yeah.
But right now that's what I'm doing. I'm living for the weekend. Think about the action that's going to go on this weekend, Charlton, in the world of sports. Tonight we have the NIT championship.
Yeah.
Between TCU and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
The second tier of NCAA basketball championships. Also this weekend, Charlton, we got the women's NCAA championship.
Yeah.
It's going to determine whether Gino Auriemma is probably the greatest coach of all time.
Oh yeah.
To see the team that he's had for the past few years.
Yeah.
They don't know how to lose. You got the men's national championship, Charlton, that's down in Phoenix, Arizona. That everybody's excited about. We got 3 first-time teams, Charlton, in the NCAA tournament, Final Four for the first time, which is what college basketball is all about.
Oh, yeah.
The infusion of new universities, new talent, people that, teams that people have not seen before. That's what makes it fresh, when you can get that new infusion into it all the time, Jonathan. We got so many things going on right now. We got the NBA coming close to the end. And you think about how the players are playing right now.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. And so you're going to have golf and everything else you can throw at us this weekend. So it's just a marvelous weekend.
Well, Big C, just talking about the world of basketball, I think Oregon was last in the Final Four in 1939 when I believe they won the NCAA championship back in the day, Big C. And we talked about Carolina being there the first time and of course Gonzaga the first time. But Gonzaga actually has been the most successful program on the West Coast over the past 20 years because I believe they've won their conference championship or at least been to their conference championship game, 20 years in a row, and that's really impressive. They're out here playing St. Mary's and University of San Francisco. But then North Carolina, I think this is their 20th trip to the Final Four. Is there any pressure on Carolina being the senior team that's been in the championship, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Jonathan, I think a lot of people would look at them as favorites, going through the tournament. They were there last year. They lost that miraculous game.
Incredible game.
Over with that last-second three-point shot.
Yeah.
So this is a team that's battle-tested. But, also, battle-tested is something that's not really what it kicks up to be. Battle-tested is going through the season. Last year really means nothing because every one of the teams in the tournament, did not win the NCAA tournament last year. So they all were losers when it comes to that point. So now, this year, we're looking at a new champion that will come away from this Monday night game, crown the champion of the NCAA.
Yeah.
So, but all four teams have an equal opportunity. When you look at South Carolina, led by Coach Frank Martin, you talk about the hottest team in the tournament. It may be them with the least amount of wins of all teams.
Yeah.
But, winning the NCAA tournament, Charleston, is about getting hot at the right time. Go back to North Carolina State when they beat University of Houston back in the early 80s.
Was it Wally Massimino, I believe?
Yeah, they were a team who got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
They may not have been the best team in the tournament, but they were hot at the right time, and that's what it comes down to. We've seen the consistency all year.
Oh, that's Coach Fight. Was it Coach Fightow? Is that who you're talking about? Big C, Coach Fightow? Was it Coach Fightow you were talking about? That team?
Pardon?
Was it Coach Fightow when they beat? They beat Houston, actually, I believe. Wasn't it?
Big Fightow and Lorenzo Charles, made that last-second shot, Jonathan, that when it fell up short by Wittenberg, and he was able to grab the carom and put it into the basket, Jonathan. But, when you look at these teams, where they are right now in the tournament, and you talk about the 20-year success of Gonzaga within their conference, and people say, well, they haven't won a championship. You got to count the number of teams, Charleston, that have won a championship over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And everybody has it. There's some teams that in there. You think about Oregon. They won the inaugural NCAA championship 70-plus years ago. And now they're back again. That's a long run, a long drought. It's almost like looking at the Cubs and the Cleveland Indians in the Big C World Series.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they the favorite based on that? Not having been there since the inaugural win.
Oh, Big C. Let me just cut you off for 1 second, Big C. In the Big C World Series, did it or did it not rain, creating a little bit of mud on the infield, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
Beautiful stadium that sits out in the desert.
Yeah.
Perfect climate inside Charleston because everything is domed. You're going to have some 40-plus thousand people, maybe 50.
Yeah.
Inside the dome, Charleston, watching this game. And I'm just expecting a spectacular weekend out there in the desert. And, one of these teams is going to come away as a proud team and university. And you're going to have three teams that are going to be a little bit disappointed. But Charleston, to get to this point, after all the games that were played this regular season and throughout the tournament, there's really no losers.
Oh, no.
There's one champion.
No, that's true. It's almost like, back in the day when you had the most beautiful woman on campus and all the guys on the football team wanted to go out with her, right? Well, she may not have married you, but you at least dated her. Did you really lose, Big Z? Probably not. Your thoughts?
Well, you
Okay, well let me ask it this way. You know, Reggie Bush, Kanye West, they both dated Kim Kardashian. Did Reggie Bush really lose, Big C?
Yeah. Also, Kanye seems to have gone off the hill. I don't know if Big Kim Kardashian's
Yeah, I tell you, Al Davis back in the day, I'll never forget. He told the great Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott, after he played for the San Francisco 49ers, ended up playing for the LA Raiders at the time. And Ronnie Lott told this story on a radio program one time. And the commentator was asking him what made him so driven. He was an All-American football player in Southern California at Eisenhower High School in Rialto, California. He became an All-American football player at the University of Southern California, USC. And then he went to the 49ers and was an All-Pro player and also a couple Super Bowls and another All-Pro player again when he played for the Raiders. And they asked him what helped him stay great over all those years. And he said Al Davis told him, stay focused. Stay focused on what you do. I know some of these good old boys, once they sign a multi-million-dollar contract, they meet these Hollywood girls or these Hollywood women that are, I mean, they're a dime a dozen in L.A., but some of these good old boys that are not used to dating women like that, they got to understand it's not about love, it's about appearance. And sometimes they get out of their focus, Big C. They lose their game. Your thoughts, Big C?
When you look at the greatest athletes of all time,
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You did not know who their spouses was. You did not know who their significant others were.
Yeah.
Because their personal life and their business life was totally separated. And I think that's one of the things that have come with the newfangled player that we have.
Oh, yeah.
It's about who you can have to showcase who you are, even if you're not that great.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you look at the top 10 players in NBA history, Jonathan, you don't know who their spouses were. You didn't see them. You knew they were married. They had a relationship. But you didn't know who their significant other was.
Yeah.
If you look at the NFL, if you look at you look at the top players every year in the league. If you look at the Hall of Fame, you didn't see guys through the Hall of Fame with somebody out there, Charlton, trying to grab more spotlight than them.
Yeah.
That's the difference, Charlton, in the modern player versus the traditional player.
Yeah.
Baseball and hockey, Charlton. Your business is your work.
Yeah.
Just like whether you're working for IBM, Charlton, AT&T,
yeah.
Ford, GM, your business is your work. I don't see CEOs of these companies, even executives within these companies, Charlton, bringing their wives in to work. They may go to dinner with them, they may go to parties and functions with them.
Yeah.
But they're not making the wives the showcase of what they do.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with so many of these young athletes. But we don't date a star. It's not about having to date somebody, Charlton, in your financial bracket. We've seen that from Hollywood. It doesn't always last.
Yeah.
Because somebody has equal money, they get picked off and says,
yeah.
And so when you look at these athletes, a lot of them go in over the head because what they're doing, Charlton, is trying to mesh the social life along with the professional life.
Yeah.
And you don't have the time to dedicate to your profession, your business of athletics, because you're doing too much trying to keep up with her in her social world, wanting to be seen and be enveloped in it. And so you see a lot of shortening of careers because of that.
Yeah.
And players not reaching their potential because of the distraction.
They call it getting caught up. I think Usher wrote a song about it, being caught up. And I'm not going to say any player's name because everybody has their own lives, but there was a great player, for the Chicago Bulls. And, everybody goes in and out of relationships, but now the groupie that married him ended up going out with a rapper, Big C. I won't say the rapper's name, but he has a name. I won't even say his name, but that story goes around. They're always looking for the guy with the most money. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the groupie mentality that a lot of these guys at March Madness that are going to be going on to the NBA.
Look at Kim Kardashian, Kardashian.
Yeah.
She was married to Lamar.
Yeah.
Once he fell on hard times, James Harden was available.
Yeah.
So she was looking around for the next thing that would perpetuate her career. Even though they have their show, Charlton, they're still looking for something to make them better.
Yeah.
Even Kim, when you talked about Kim.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush was hot at the time. Wasn't it Reggie Bush was some superstar? He was just a college kid.
Yeah.
But she knew he had the potential to make her better in the social world.
Yeah.
So she gravitated to him. Once he was gone, Kanye West, one of the top music artists in the world, felt that he would provide her with more exposure. So
yeah.
these are the things that they do, and a lot of times the athlete's career is the one that's shortened.
Yeah.
Because he is the one who has to be physically productive in his business.
Yeah.
And when he has these distractions, Charlton, you can't always concentrate. It's what you said that the late Al Davis said.
Stay focused. Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure that your business is your priority.
Yeah.
Not your social life, not your entertainment life, but your business. Your business is your body and your team. And as an athlete, that's what you need to focus on more than your relationships. Now, I'm not saying that the relationships you don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
But when you have a family and you have a wife that understands you're the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And that you need to concentrate on bringing that bread home.
Yeah.
You don't want to come home with a half a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
You know, you want a full loaf of bread.
Half a loaf of bread. And see, that's a great point to bring up because we're all excited about March Madness and we're all excited about seeing who's going to win on the women's and the men's side. The NIT is going to be Friday night in the Big Apple. But there's something that to be said for these young athletes. And I think a lot of these coaches and these pro teams, they sit down these young guys and they tell them that there is a thing called the groupie. I mean, Donald Trump has them. They just happen to be in Russia, and they're oligarchies with money. He has groupies too. But these young kids that are going to have every woman come up to them and think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And some of these guys, they know they're not good looking, Big C. I mean, I'm not saying beauty's not high to beholder, but sometimes a Hollywood model shows up on your arm and you have no money and now you signed a $30, $40 million contract. Now you're the best looking guy in the room. And I'm not saying that's bad because if Rush Limbaugh can get a woman to marry him, maybe, you know money talks, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Half of them have been dead on the line.
Yeah.
But when you look back, I mean, he's a perfect example of it.
Yeah.
He has a wife that he puts off to the side.
Yeah.
She is not involved in anything that he does, knows what he do. I don't know if he speaks half the English.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking to him, I'm just saying what I've heard.
Right.
Okay? But, and that's how he's able to maintain what he does, whether it's a lie or a perpetuation of business.
Yeah.
He doesn't put her in the middle of what he does. So she's not a distraction to him.
Yeah.
And we see that with so many of these athletes that, they're trying to make these black tie events, these red carpet events, Charlton.
Yeah.
And be with this other person is that where they should be training. When you look at the elite athletes.
Yeah.
We look at Kobe Bryant, who just retired a couple years ago.
He's still in great shape, though. He's still in great shape.
Bryant's wife, you really never saw her.
Yeah, yeah.
But the mom would continue to play at this high level for his 20-year career. Look at Michael Jordan, Jonathan.
Yeah.
His wife took care of the kids at home.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she wasn't important in his career and his advancements, Jonathan, but his work was there. She didn't interfere with his work. You look at Shaq, you look at Kareem over here.
Yeah.
Bill Russell, Jonathan, these great athletes over time. You never heard anything about their wives going out having press conferences.
Yeah.
We do that with the young athletes now, Jonathan, where their wives are out tweeting.
Yeah.
Their girlfriends are out tweeting, wanting to speak to the media about their husband.
Yeah.
But who's in control of the situation? That becomes an internal distraction to the team, to the player, Jonathan, that they have to defend it, and they should not. So,
yeah.
When we bring the family scenario into sports, the social scenario into sports is the loser, Charles.
Yeah.
Because sports is the one that's put on the second tier.
Yeah.
Not the priority.
And that's a very good point to bring up because I'm telling all these young guys, you're about to become superstars, and most of them already are at some level. But a good player and a superstar with no money in the bank is a lot different. The world is different when you're a superstar, even an average player, and you got $30 million in your bank account. Every movie star thinks you're gorgeous then. Let's go down and look at some of the top players. Nigel Williams-Gross out of Gonzaga. He's a second-team All-American. He shuts down the opposing team's best player, and he runs one of the nation's most efficient offenses. He's a superb leader. How can he help carry Gonzaga into that final championship game, Big C? They're going to have a tough game coming up against them, Big C, but he's a great leader for Gonzaga, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, consistently going into the Final Four, Jonathan, Gonzaga has the best defensive team.
Yeah.
When you look at that. But they also have the most senior league team, the most experienced team in the tournament. Not in the Final Four, but only Carolina's been there.
Yeah.
But in the tournament, when you look at these players that have been under Mark Few, and Mark Few is just voted AP Coach of the Year, Jonathan, so congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
His great success that he's had at the University of Gonzaga. But, having these at this time. You know, you got a lot of players that are not going to pass. You know, we've seen throughout the history of the tournament with young players that have made mistakes. We can always go back to Chris Webber throwing the ball away.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at, you know, Brown at Georgetown throwing the ball away.
Oh, yeah.
So young players that have made mistakes, but you get these senior-laden teams that are very far and few in between at this time in the tournament will make a difference. So I don't see Gonzaga with the run that they're making being anywhere feeling that they're under pressure. They're out there, they're playing with house money right now, so I think you hang out in Vegas a lot.
Hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, okay? I cannot confirm or deny, Big C.
but you know, they're playing with house money because even though they were a number one seed, no one really predicted for them to be here, Charlton. So they're at ease right now getting to this point of the tournament. Their opponent is the one that's tensed up when you're looking at it, because nobody expected South Carolina to be here.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the scenario. So South Carolina has played well, but they have to play their best game in their university's history, Charlton, to make it to the finals on Monday.
Yeah, that's true. And then when you look at coaching, I think is that Mark Few, Gonzaga has a basketball acumen. I mean, he has taken the Zags to the first national title Final Four appearance. And again, we talk about a team, Big C, that's up in the great Northwest. It's amazing how you take the state of Washington, they lose the Seattle Supersonics, a basketball team. They moved to Oklahoma City, became the OKC Thunder. And then Seattle's a gorgeous area. It's just about not building an arena, and that's why they left. But then they go to OKC, and they're having a lot of success. Now, Sean Kemp played up there with them good old boys. But at that time, no one was thinking about Gonzaga University. It was always the University of Washington, UW, and even Washington State. But no one gave much thought to Gonzaga University. But they've been winning since 1997, Big C, going to their tournament. So their coach has kind of played kind of in the wilderness in a sense. But I'm really proud of these small programs that are making things happen. And want to get your thoughts on him, how he stands up to the great coaches that have been in the Final Four in the past, Big C.
Well, Charlton, he's equal to anybody around here. You think about Gonzaga playing in the West Coast Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
This is the first time since the late 50s, 57 or 59, that a West Coast Conference team is in the Final Four. That was the University of San Francisco, and they won it all. So,
was that Bill Cartwright and them good old boys, Big C?
Well, not Bill Cartwright. We're talking Bill Russell, Charlton.
Oh, Bill Russell. And I think Casey Jones. Casey Jones, yeah.
You know, at the University of San Francisco Don.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about the futility that Mark Few has had. He's been pursued, Charlton, by every major program that had an opening over the last 10 years. But he has stayed at Gonzaga where he's comfortable. And there's something about loyalty and dedication. I mean, all coaches want to make optimum income.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've talked about it before. How much do you need to make to be comfortable? You know, if you have several $1 million in your bank account, you're in your 50s, I think you might have enough to get over the hump. Get through retirement.
Yeah.
And being where he is, it's not like, you know, he has to buy much out. I'm going to assume wherever he goes, everybody knows who he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's that big fish in that small pond.
Yeah.
But, you know, the respectability that he has garnered since being at Gonzaga is that he's a coach that's dedicated to a program, not dedicated to the next dollar.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing to find because we see these coaches moving in a heartbeat. You know, whether it's college football, college basketball, we saw that at the end of the college football season where the coach, Herman down at Houston, couldn't wait to go to Texas because, hey, I'm going to make another $3-4 million a year.
Yeah.
And I told these kids when I recruit them, man, I'm going to be here to see them graduate.
Yeah.
All he did was graduate to the next couple $1 million, something. He'll throw it here by in the middle of the night. As many coaches do, they walk away from their programs, they walk away from the kids, and leave these kids with a hollow feeling and the parents being misled.
Yeah.
But Mark Few, I want to congratulate on him staying at the same university, not being swayed by the humongous dollar Charlton, but being swayed by what he has dedicated himself to, the program and the kids that he recruits, Charlton.
Well, Big C, that's amazing that you say that because we were just talking about that. Money changes things, and we're not saying there's anything wrong with money changing things, but I just want these young athletes to understand that your life is going to change whenever you get to the point where you can change the lives of anyone that dates you or tells you how good looking you are. There was a good old boy back in the day named Big Country. I think he played at Oklahoma State. Big Country is not good looking.
and I'm going to say this was back in probably around 93, 94,
Yeah.
something in the inaugural season.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't go wrong. And you got to understand, who was the number 2 draft pick that year? The draft officer, Steve Nash. Steve Nash, by the Phoenix Suns, went on to win 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
Brian Reeves went on to play about 5 years in the NBA, and they figured his best games were in the NCAA tournament that year with Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And he never got any better in the NBA. Matter of fact, he progressed over the next 3 years.
Yeah, and that's the thing that the great Al Davis told Ronnie a lot. Stay focused. There's always going to be a distraction, especially if guys like Big Country can have Hollywood models on its arm. And I've seen some big-looking football players over the years, you know, especially being up in the Oakland Coliseum, covering a lot of the Raiders over the years. You have guys 6'5", 340 pounds, and they got a girl that was just runner-up in the Miss California Beauty Contest, and they're thinking it's love at first sight. I'm not talking anybody. Love is love. I still say if Rush Limbaugh can find someone to love him, then every man should be unsingle, Big C, if that makes any sense, Big C. But I want to get back into the coaching. Dana Altman, Oregon, quietly known as one of the nation's best coaches for years. He's proven it during the Ducks' run to the Final Four. Now, Oregon, their basketball program has always taken a back seat, Big C, to the football program under Rich Brooks back in the day when he had the Ducks running hard. And then, of course, you had them good old boys the last couple of years. They keep changing coaches. Halfrich is there. And that good old boy, who's the good old boy they fired from the 49ers, Big C? Kelly, Chip Kelly. So they were always the second, I guess you call it the second ticket when you wanted to go see Oregon athletics. But he's gotten them to where the Ducks went, and that's in a position to win a Final Four. Is he undervalued, Big C, being up in the great Northwest? Your thoughts?
Well, Jordan, when it comes down to the media market, you know, and when you look at the media, it's all basically run out of the East Coast. And you think about the undercovers that Gonzaga gets, the undercovers that Oregon got, UCLA, USC, Arizona, all those teams that are in the West Coast. So they don't get the coverage because by the time they come on in a primetime game on the West Coast, most people on the East Coast are asleep, Charles. You know, that 3-hour time difference does not allow everybody to see those games. Just like in college football, Charles, you can have some great games on the West Coast, but when they're kicking off at midnight, 11:30 on the East Coast, not many people are staying up to watch them after seeing 3 or 4 games throughout the day on the weekend. So, you know, it becomes a little bit of overkill. But you look at the Oregon program, Charles, and it really turned around after Uncle Phil Knight. It seems that program with the money and built a new on-campus arena.
Wait, what did Uncle Phil give him, Big C? What did Uncle Phil give him, Big C?
Uncle Phil built a couple $100 million on-campus arena.
So money does change people, huh, Big C? It makes you better. Is that what you're saying? You get better athletes?
Well, when you put that state-of-the-art facility, now you're going to attract the elite athletes, Charles. That's the difference. When you're playing in these little on-campus facilities, sometimes 4,000 or 5,000 seats because they've been on the campus for 70 years, Charles. You know, it's really not attractive to when you're competing against, say, the big boys who have some of these 20,000 seat on-campus arenas. And kids like to be in the crowd. You look at the SEC for say, Charles. You got Kentucky, Tennessee, you know, and in the ACC, North Carolina, even Syracuse, these 20+ thousand seat arenas. And so it's hard to compete with those universities when you say, hey, come play for us and just go out there. It's done a lot, Charles, because you got a 5,000 seat on-campus arena, and players are looking, well, I can go here, see on TV, but, you know, the table has been turned, and Phil did that. If you look at that speech, Charles, they built a new arena on campus 3 or 4 years ago. So the upgrade of the West Coast Conference, the western part of the United States, these arenas that they have now, you know, has made a difference. Washington did the same thing. And so now they're able to keep players on the West Coast because of the facility. That's the number one thing that draws up, plus all the free Nike stuff.
Money does help, Big Z. Having Uncle Phil also helps too, Big Z. Like you said, you know, Pauley Pavilion, UCLA, they won all of their national championships before they revamped Pauley Pavilion. They made it a much, I guess, more intimate setting right now, Big C. So, but you know, it does make a big difference. Money talks, and when these programs put money in, it helps. I want to ask you about Frank Martin, South Carolina's head coach. They call him the big guy. He's a little bit more intense. He's more the demeanor of an NBA coach as opposed to a rah-rah college coach, Big C. He's really done a lot for South Carolina and gotten them in the Final Four, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, when you look at Frank Martin's history, he truly lived living the American dream.
Yeah.
You know, he's the descendant of true immigrants. His grandparents came to America as immigrants from Cuba. So, you know, to come to this country and have this opportunity, you know, he's the second generation Cuban-American here.
Yeah.
And the success that he's had, he went to Kansas State, resurrected that program, and when he left Kansas State about 4 years ago, Charlton, and went back to South Carolina, everybody's like, why is he making this decision?
Yeah.
He has Kansas State basically just behind Kansas in the Big 12, you know, as far as prominence. But he saw vision, and that was his alma mater he wanted to go back to. He felt he owed it to him. And so he's gone back, and in this short time, Charlton, he's resurrected this program.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's what he did, if you think about what the president stands for now, Frank Martin would not be able to be coaching.
Oh, yeah.
In college basketball, he would not be in the Final Four if Donald Trump was around back in those days to allow immigrants to come in exile from other countries, because he would have said they'd have been criminals because they're Hispanic, so technically he would have considered his grandparents racists and murderers.
Yeah.
If you're looking for what Donald Trump says and the Republican Party and Fox News.
And
Frank Martin is a part of this American dream, Charlton, that when you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry, and let them, you know, prosper in this land of greatness. And so he has done that.
Yeah.
And this program and this university has been known over the years as a football university. Think about New Hope turned around that football program prior to turning it over to Steve Spurrier,
Yeah.
where they went to national prominence. And now Frank Martin has come in and done the same thing. They've been the hottest team in the tournament, Charlton, because no one expected South Carolina. I tell you, no one had them on their bracket past the first round, okay?
No, I sure didn't, Mixie. They cost me some money. I want to say one more, Coach, and this guy, number one, he reeks class. I know no man is perfect. I don't worship any man, but when you talk about someone who carries himself with class, and I think one of the greatest coaches outside of John Wooden is the great Dean Smith, the late Dean Smith at North Carolina, because he was focused and he was fair to all of his kids. I remember the great Dean Smith would not stay in some hotels back in the Jim Crow days because they wouldn't allow black athletes to stay there. So he said, if we can't all stay here, none of us are going to stay here. Total antithesis of Donald Trump. And now you have this good old boy in Roy Williams. And I'm telling you, Roy, a Southern gentleman, everybody likes Roy, has respect for decades as a coach, Big C. And not only has he won when he was at Kansas, he goes to North Carolina and he wins again. Not only does he win, Big C, he has a lot of respect from all of the brethren in the game. And then when North Carolina lost the game last year to Villanova on that great last-second shot, it wasn't Roy Williams saying the officials, stole the game from us. It wasn't Roy Williams saying we got, shafted or whatever. He tipped his hat to a great coach and a great team at Villanova, and he told his team, keep your head up, we'll be back. And now, just like the great Arnold Schwarzeneggers, they are back, Big C. Your thoughts on the great Roy Williams?
Roy Williams is just like we talked about Frank Martin, Charlton, being able to go back to your alma mater, being able to coach after a legend that has coached you.
Yeah.
But, he cut his teeth after another legend in Kansas, where he followed up Larry Brown, the great Larry Brown in Kansas. So he has gone into places, Charlton, where he has coached behind legends. And so in doing that, he had a lot to live up to. He could not fall off.
Yeah.
He had to keep the status quo of what it's been. So that shows the greatness of a Roy Williams and the ingenuity to be able to adapt what you have in that particular environment, because everyone understands the legendary stature of Larry Brown, who has coached everyone, I think, 2 teams in the history of basketball.
Yeah.
But, Roy Williams went into Kansas, kept that team, that university in the top 10 throughout his tenure there.
Yeah.
But when the opportunity and the call came from his alma mater that they wanted him to come home, he did that job.
Yeah.
And not many people can go home and have the success. It's always the toughest place to go back to. And that's one of the things that Steve Alford is toying with right now in UCLA, where Indiana's pursuing him.
Yeah.
But, Roy Williams was able to go back because he was part of that North Carolina makeup. He understood what the importance of that program was to that state, to the community, Charlton, and he knew the history of it because he had been a part of it.
Yeah.
It forged him to what he was as a coach, Charlton. That's where he learned his basketball under Dean Smith. And since going back there, Charlton, and being able to win a national championship, played and to go back as a coach.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal feat because all the pressure in the world is on you. But he has done it with integrity. That's the thing, Charlton. Roy Williams has been a class act. It's been some talk the past couple of years of him possibly walking away from the game.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if he can walk away from the game with that competitive and that passionate about the game. And as you told his players, don't worry about last year. We'll be back.
Yeah.
And he got them to back-to-back Final Fours, Charlton. That's a feat rarely seen in this modern day of college basketball.
And Big C, you know what I noticed about the great Roy Williams, and I want to say that just like the great late Al Davis told Ronnie a lot, stay focused. And I want these young boys to understand this is a time of your life. Go have a great time. Go understand what it's like to be a part of something great. You are representing your family first, and then you're representing your university. Make your parents proud and do the best you can to have a better life. But just stay focused on what's ahead of you, and that's being the best student athlete you can be. And don't let yourself get distracted, Big C. I want to say that boys and girls sports is a billion-dollar industry in Big C Sports, and we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and every athlete needs to have some type of insurance. We do it through Ben and Mark with Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network. Whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate player, a high school player, or even your mom and pop soccer leagues, get insured through Big C Sports with Ben and Mark, and we got you covered. Big C, I just want to go into this point about what's happening in the world of the NBA. There's been so many great games going on. Last night I was at the Golden Center in Sacramento, California. I want to just say also Gary Gerald, the longtime broadcaster of the Sacramento Kings. He's also done NASCAR, a lot of good things. Just talking to Gary after the game. The Kings have a good arena. They have so much new opportunities coming to Sacramento, whether it's basketball or concerts or political events or rodeo or even, racing and all that good old boy stuff. It's a great place for an event, so come out to Northern California and book the Golden One Center. But last night, the Jazz got on top of the Kings, 112-82. After the Kings had just won 2 in a row, having some close games against Memphis and also against the LA Clippers. But last night, Gordon Hayward, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists at Utah. They looked really good, Big C, and that's a team that had the Kings down 62-60 at one point. But the Kings came back and made it close, and then they pulled away. Did the same thing happen for them good old boys down at Golden State when they were in San Antonio? I thought they were down at one point, Big C, 22-3. They came back and got the win in the great, what do you call it, the Big Star State? Is that what they call it, Big C? Lone Star State, okay.
Down in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And 9 straight victories, 9 consecutive victories at Golden State, Charlton.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. Everybody thought that this team would go into a slump when Kevin Durant went out, but this team has futility.
Yeah.
And when you think about the great players on this team that can step up, last night Golden State's bench was the difference in the game. Everyone has known that San Antonio has had the best bench in the league all year long.
Yeah.
They got 45 bench points from Golden State last night, which was the difference. You know what to expect from the starters, Charlton. But, they secured first place in the Western Division last night by stopping San Antonio.
Yeah.
But San Antonio went on a 15-0 run at one point in the first quarter to give them that 25-3 lead. And so when you look at Golden State, this is a team in the past 3 or 4 year history of this program, Charlton,
Yeah.
that has been able to shoot itself out of trouble. But they can score at any point, and that's what they can put on you is this relentless pressure of scoring. And relentless pressure of scoring also, Charlton, leads to defense. Because you put this other team on its heels all the time, they're not settled.
Yeah.
And San Antonio is one of the elite teams in the NBA. So if there's question marks about Golden State's ability, Charlton, I think they may have been answered last night. Right
Yeah.
now, the favorite
Yeah.
for the NBA championship, and Durant has not been in the lineup.
No.
I think they might ease him in the last couple games just to see where he's fitting.
Get his wins
But,
back, yeah.
I think it's going into the playoffs, Charlton. If Steve Kerr is as intelligent as a coach as everybody has led him to believe,
Yeah.
me if I was coaching, and I can't spell me. So, if it was me, I would bring Durant off the bench. He would be my 6th man in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yeah.
But just think about what that would bring to your team, Charlton.
Yeah, changes things.
You're bringing Kevin Durant, one of the top 5 players in the NBA, off of the bench.
Yeah.
Think about what Ray Allen did for the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics when he was with those teams, Charles, comes off the bench.
Yeah.
A great sharpshooter. I'll go back and you talked about the Seattle Supersonics, Charles, years ago. He had a guy called Downtown Freddie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Who had been a starter most of his career, but when the three-point circle came in, he became one of the elite sharpshooters in the NBA because of that. I go back to Big Shot Bob Horry.
Yeah.
He had an NBA title, Charles, because he wanted to come off the bench because he was a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
You take a perennial NBA All-Star, bring him into your lineup in the second tier, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what Golden State is doing right now. But you bring him in with that second unit where you have a bona fide superstar in the second unit.
Yeah.
You don't have an NBA team that can compete with that, Charlton.
No, that's a lot.
I know you don't listen to the program. But maybe somebody who listens to the program is close to you.
Yeah.
Listen to what I just said. Do not start Kevin Durant. Make him your sixth man through the playoffs, and you'll have your second championship in 3 years in Golden State.
Well, I tell you, we got a lot of them good old boys from Golden State that follow Big C Sports on Twitter, so I know they listen in, Big C. And also, I want to say, the MVP of the league, there's a lot of talk about who's going to do what. When you look at what Oklahoma City did last night with Westbrook, they came from behind to beat Orlando in overtime, 114 to 106. Now, that good old boy, I don't know if he has some extra whatever you guys put that moonshine to give it that sweet taste, Big C, but that brother can play some basketball. I'm telling you, if there was an award for effort, Russell Westbrook would have the effort award because he brings it every single night. Another good old boy out of UCLA, Big C. Your thoughts on the great Russell Westbrook? I think he hit 57 points, Big C.
57 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Speaks for itself.
He's like Superman.
It's just unparalleled, Jonathan, what he did last night. You know, when you talk about an individual player always carrying a team for an entire season,
Yeah.
it's been Russell Westbrook. He hasn't had the assist of his co-players, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he also guaranteed a playoff spot. He locked him up last night.
Yeah.
But Russell Westbrook, I mean, there's been this talk back and forth of who's the MVP.
It's Russell.
He truly deserves it.
It's Russell.
Without him, what would OKC be?
Yeah.
They would be in oblivion, Jonathan. They would be down there with Sacramento and a few others of those twirling teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
New Orleans, teams of New York Knicks, that's what they would be without Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He is a phenomenal athlete and player, Jonathan. What he's done this year is raise the bar as far as what you need to do individually to be the MVP. James Harden would be the MVP probably in any other year.
Yeah. And you know,
he has run up against a buzzsaw this year in Russell Westbrook. We know that LeBron James is the best player in the NBA when he wants to be.
yeah.
But what Russell Westbrook has proven this year is that he wants to be the best player every night.
Oh, man.
He can't take the nights off like the other superstars and expect his team to have anything, Jonathan. So he's forced to play 82 games at that high level. And I think that's what truly an MVP in any league is that you play the entire regular season at that high level. We understand that everybody gets tired. Take that 3 months and don't go around the world traveling, relax.
Yeah.
Stay at your pool at home, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Get a masseuse every day. But, you know, that's when you can rest. You can bring your body back in focus. But Russell Westbrook, Charlton, with what he did last night with that 53 points, 13 rebounds,
Yeah.
7 assists, you know, if it was just that game alone to vote on MVP, he wins it hands down.
Yeah, and the main thing, you know, we're going to start our own award, Big C. We don't need to wait on somebody else. We're going to start the Big C Focus Award, the Big C Focus, and it's a tribute to the great late Al Davis when he told Ronnie Lott, stay focused. Just because you're a great player, it doesn't mean you can loaf. And my whole thing with Harden, maybe because Harden was dating one of those Kardashian girls, he didn't have enough legs in him to play defense, Big C, if you understand what I mean, Big C. but Russell Westbrook, that brother's focused. If you're the guys in the Final Four coming up over the weekend, and you think you want to be an NBA player, or you want to be a player that makes a few $1 million doing something you love, you know, you can coach strategy. You can tell how to be in one position or another position on the floor, but you cannot coach effort. And that brother's focused, and I appreciate seeing someone play that way. He doesn't get in trouble. He doesn't get teed up. He plays like Ronnie Lott played football, Big C. And I know you defensive guys hold a lot of people. If he was a defensive back, he'd probably hold a lot like you did back in the day, Big C. But you guys get away with it. What did Pete Carroll say? They can't call holding every time, Big C. Is that what it is? Okay, you and Richard Sherman, right?
You have to hold somebody to tackle something. You're one halfway right.
Yeah, I understand.
Look at it. He has a grasp and a hold of the game, Charles.
Yeah.
That's the key. His court awareness is unprecedented right now.
Yeah.
You know, as far as what he sees, and you think about it. People can say, well, he's selfish because he scored so many points.
He's driven.
Look at the assists, Jonathan. There's 11 assists last night. Those 11 assists accounted for at least 22 points by teammates.
Yeah.
Okay? The 13 rebounds, willing to have the guard to go inside and battle the big men for the ball.
Yeah.
That's a complete team player, Jonathan, when you're willing to do all of these things. That you're willing to get the ball to your teammates when they have the best opportunity to score. You're willing to go in and fight and grapple for the rebounds, Jonathan, against the big trees in the NBA.
Yeah.
And you're willing to take that ball up the court, go down the lane, penetrating as well as pulling up for the jump shot, Jonathan. You have the complete package. Russell Westbrook has done that. And that, you know, people talk about this kid, Lorenzo Ball at UCLA.
Yeah.
You couldn't hold Russell Westbrook's shot. He's
No.
not in that league.
Same
He's
school.
not even the college player of the year, Jonathan. And, you know, his dad is the mouth of the year, but the player, I question Ball's ability. Everybody's saying he should be the number one pick in the NBA draft, and you know, he had a couple of decent games, but he's not Russell Westbrook. When you want to look at UCLA lineage, Russell Westbrook is most likely the best guard to have ever come out there, and I'm not sliding Reggie Miller, who was a phenomenal all-star for a decade, playing, you know, at Indiana.
Yeah.
But Russell Westbrook, as well as Michael Harden, and you think about it, they were both on the same team together 4 years ago in Oklahoma City, John.
Yeah. And
Oklahoma City had both of these players playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they could not come to a contract agreement with Harden. And Harden is what I said about Kevin Durant earlier, Charles.
Yeah.
Harden was the sixth man when he was at OKC.
Yeah.
And he was the sixth man of the year in the NBA.
Yeah.
So that lets you know what type of player he was. So if Golden State does that same thing with Kevin Durant, allow him to come off the bench, look how much better that team will be. And I don't think that his ego would be in the way where he said, I can't do that.
Exactly. Well, Andre Iguodala did it. In fact, being unselfish, I want anyone to go to GoFundMe. Karen Holloway Smith has a page up. They're helping to create clean water for kids in Africa. And I think there's so much that we take for granted here in America. You know, Donald Trump's trying to send people outside of the country, trying to build a wall and to keep people out of the country, as opposed to sending people to Africa to create water, clean water for people who don't have clean water. What if POTUS was a decent human being and he put a lot of his energy into getting money from Putin to create clean water throughout the world, Big C? He'd probably be a little bit better of a man. So GoFundMe account, Karen Holloway Smith. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Big C.
Think about clean water. I understand he just released this coal act, that coal mining can go back to 100% production in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone understands what goes on with the production of coal. It's called the contamination of groundwater.
Yeah.
When that happens, because to get down the coal dust, you need water.
Yeah.
And this water in this coal dust has to go somewhere. I don't think that all water goes up in evaporation.
No, it doesn't.
It goes up in ground holdings.
Yeah.
And so when you have ground holdings of water, Charlton, you have seepage.
Yeah.
And in this seepage, you get this contamination. And so people wonder why they had so many health problems in states like West Virginia and Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's because the groundwater is contaminated from this coal mining, Charlton. That seepage that goes through the mine,
Yeah.
it runs out of the mine, out into these holding ponds, Charlton. So there's a lot of contamination going on from that. And I'm not saying that these people don't need jobs, but modern mechanization, Charlton, it has changed.
Yeah.
Let some production need to be in the United States, isn't it? And when he's talking about taking America back to the 60s, you cannot do that in modernization.
Well, Big C.
You might do that in social thinking,
Yeah.
not in modernization.
Big C, there was a time back in L.A., even the 1984 Olympics at the Coliseum, and that's where Carl Lewis did his thing and set the Olympic world on fire, Big C. The smog in L.A. was so bad because they did not have good EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. They were letting the good old rich boys do whatever they want to pollute the environment to make an extra dollar. And a lot of kids were born in L.A. that had asthma. They had other problems that were associated with breathing dirty air. And lately we had, even I think through the Reagan administration all the way through President Obama, they worked at cleaning up the air all over the country. But LA was so notorious for bad air. Now you can run around and breathe freely because they have the EPA. They're making companies put health over money. And now Donald Trump, you think about it, for anyone who's lived in major cities, look at what China looks like. It's almost foggy on a sunny day because there's no EPA over there. It's all about money, and they have poor health. So for the good old boys that want to walk around, yeah.
Donald Trump's daughter has a product in China and shipped to the United States with
No, wait a minute. I thought her products were made in America, Big C.
Well, the last thing I saw on the label said made in China, and Donald said that he was going to put this 35%.
Are you saying his own
product brought it to the United States?
Well, hold on. You read more than I do. You saying Ivanka Trump, all that makeup stuff, is made in China?
The makeup as well as the clothing line, Charles, is made in China. The shoe line is made in China and imported into the United States through a backdoor route where she's not paying this tariff. And so he's talking about countries now who do trade outside the United States, and he's going to have this tremendous tariff for them as high as 35%.
Wow.
His daughter, and since he pays no taxes, she won't have to pay taxes.
That's an incredible, Big C. I just wanna get your last thoughts as I run down just a few scores that I think are important to the world of the NBA, because I know March Madness is coming on, and everybody's looking at March Madness and how they're gonna pick the team. If anybody's gonna pick the team that's gonna win a championship, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say I'm gonna go with Green. I'm gonna be like Phil Knight. I think money talks. I think Oregon, for some reason, they haven't been there since 1939. They're on a stroke. They're on a streak right now that really works. They have good players in Brooks that can really take over a game. If that team can pound the ball inside, I think Oregon might walk away with that national championship, Big C. But around the NBA, last night, Utah 112, the Sacramento Kings 82. I was there at Golden One Center. Atlanta 99, Philadelphia 92. Oklahoma City, man, Westbrook, you're the Big C Focus Award winner. 114-106 overtime win over Orlando. Charlotte 110, Toronto 106, Miami 105, and the Posse on Broadway, New York Knicks 88, Milwaukee 103, Boston 100. Boston's now in second place in the Eastern Conference. The good old boys down in Memphis 110, Indiana 97. No one has still seen the great Larry Bird, Big C. I just want to know he probably hit that 400 million. New Orleans 121, Dallas 118, Golden State 110, San Antonio 98, the Clippers 133, and Washington 124. Big C, as we close it out, why is POTUS meeting Vladimir Putin, who's a killer, over in Finland? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I think if this meeting takes place, that, Putin has invited Trump to Finland. When you think about how Russia and its leaders have been ostracized by the United States presidents, Trump, over the past couple of decades.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump has constantly spoke highly of Putin wanting to build a relationship. Well, he already had the relationship. He wants to let people know that, they're friends, and they've been friends, and Putin didn't help him out in the election. But, just think about that. He is POTUS right now, as well as his staff, under investigation by all our national security agencies.
Yeah.
And so what he is doing is saying that all our national security agencies
it's dumb.
are unintelligent.
It's dumb.
That they have fake information. That's what they're saying.
Like they're Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity. They're just ignorant people with a microphone, Big C.
Yeah, he's saying that you got to listen to Fox News people and Rush Limbaugh because they're the only ones with the true facts.
Yeah.
This country has relied on the national security agencies, Charlton, ever since modern time has been. It's just like the American fan has relied on sports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, tennis, Charlton. We have relied on that for as far as our stability in life. That keeps us perpetuating through life, those national security agencies. So if our president wants to go behind the backs of the American citizens and reach out to this leader, this dictator from this foreign country that everybody knows that he has his people killed and disagree with him.
Yeah.
This is the track that we're running down as Americans. We have a guy in office who wants to be a dictator.
Yeah.
Not a president of the people who wants to be a dictator. So if he goes meet with Putin over in Finland as is proposed by Putin, then he's getting on track to be a dictator, Charlton. I think if this meeting takes place, when he arrives back in America, the impeachment proceedings need to start next day.
Oh yeah, you talk about not wanting Mexican Americans here and calling them illegal aliens as opposed to human beings, and then he wants to go meet with a killer himself, Pixie. I just think CNN, wake up. Sometimes Big C Sports has brought this story to the country before CNN did. Come on, Don Lemon. Come on, Will Spitzer. You know he owns 20% of a Russian bank. Big C's been telling you that before the holidays, and now you good old boys are taking your time to get to it. Tell the truth. Don't be like Fox News. Big C, I want to say every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network, the #1 network in the United States of America, and Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. And I want to tell you also, there's never any room for domestic violence. No woman should ever have to go through that garbage or having any man grab her by the crotch. That's called sexual assault. Just call 911. And as we always tell you on every program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.